We loved each other, and our calendars disagreed. 2 coffee cups on a table, one steaming, one already cooled. Like 2 lives that wanted the same thing on different timetables. That image stuck with me for months.
Welcome back to SNJ Pride. I'm Samnang. If you've ever fallen for someone who's at a different life stage, different jobs, different family expectations, different plans for the future, this one is for you. I want to be clear from the start. Age difference alone is not a moral failing. What matters is consent, mutuality, and the balance of power. Today, I'm telling a careful story and offering simple, trauma-aware tools to help you check what's happening in your relationship.
Let's name a few things up front. When one partner is older, people assume wisdom. They assume stability. Friends whisper about mentorship and experience. Families worry about caregiving and long-term planning. And the person who's younger sometimes carries secret shame. Did I like them because they were older, or did I like them for themselves? Those are honest, complicated feelings. I'm going to walk you through 3 moments from my life that helped me see the difference between attraction and imbalance, and then give you real scripts and checklists you can use. Scene 1. The spark. It happened at a small gallery opening. He laughed differently, calm like someone who'd been around enough storms to stop pretending. I was 20-something and messy in the best ways. Books spilled out of my bag, I talked too fast, I loved loudly. He was older by a decade and patient in a way I'd never seen. There was no agenda. We talked about a painting that looked like the ocean and somehow ended up sharing childhood stories until the lights came on. That first hour felt like discovery. I remember thinking, here is someone who sees me. That feeling was intoxicating. Here's the thing. I was hungry for that safety. Scene 2. A small moment where things tilted. We decided to move in together. He picked the furniture, negotiated the deposit, signed the lease. He did it calmly, and I told myself I loved not having to handle those things. But then, a Friday night, my birthday, he invited colleagues I'd never met. I felt sidelined in my own home. When I mentioned it, he said with perfect logic that the guests were friends and it was more convenient. I didn't argue. Instead, I swallowed the sting and told myself I was being dramatic. Looking back, that was the first warning bell. When decisions start being made more often by one person, small slights become a pattern. I almost gave up on naming it because it felt petty next to his help. But that quiet accumulation matters. Scene 3. The crisis that forced the question. He got sick. Nothing dramatic, but enough that he asked me to handle most of the doctor's calls and some of his financial paperwork because he didn't have time. I stepped in because I loved him. Months later, when I wanted to talk about our future, kids, careers, what happens if one of us needs care, he joked about retirement timelines and then changed the subject. I felt used. Was I his partner, or was I helping manage his life? That's the ugly question that age gaps can raise. Is this mutual care or a slow slide into one person being dependent and the other running the show? The truth of it is, those lines can blur fast if you don't name them. Okay, practical part. If you want to start the age conversation without blaming, here are 3 scripts that work. Use them like tools, not like weapons. First, the curiosity first script. I've been thinking about how our life timelines look different, and I want to understand how you see the next 5 years. Can we talk about that? That opens with curiosity, not accusation. Second, the boundary first script. When big decisions happen without me, I feel unseen. I need us to agree on a check-in before any major choice about the house or finances. That names your need. Third, the values first script. I want to make sure we're building a relationship where both people stay whole. What does partnership mean to you, and how do we protect each other's autonomy? Try these out. Say them out loud. They aren't perfect, but they start a conversation instead of a fight. Now, a short checklist you can run alone or together. This is not therapy. Think of it as a quick reality check. 1.
Financial independence. Does one person control most money or access to accounts? 2. Decision-making balance. Who decides about home, health, travel, major purchases? 3. Emotional labor. Who's always the one making social plans, apologizing, smoothing things over? 4. Social power. Whose friends, family, and work sway daily life? 5. External pressures. Are family expectations or immigration status driving choices? If 2 or more of these feel clearly imbalanced, slow down and talk with a neutral third party. This checklist is diagnostic, not judgmental. Use it to notice patterns.
If you want to repair or rebalance, try a 1-month check-in plan. Week 1, a 15-minute values conversation. What do we want from this relationship in 1 sentence each? Week 2, a practical check. Finance, chores, decisions, what's working, what isn't. 15 minutes. Week 3, boundary setting. Agree on 2 concrete changes. For example, major purchases over $500 require a joint conversation. Week 4, accountability and rituals. Pick a weekly 10-minute micro-ritual, a Sunday planning text, a Friday gratitude check-in, and set a date to revisit in 3 months. Small, consistent acts rebuild balance more than dramatic speeches. And when things slip, call a timeout and ask, are we doing this because of love or convenience?
And crucially, know the red flags that mean professional help is needed. If you feel coerced, threatened, isolated from friends or finances, or if your partner uses shame to control you, that's not something to manage alone. If you're afraid to speak, if apologies are followed by the same controlling behavior, or if your autonomy is being eroded, reach out to a therapist, a trusted friend, or a domestic violence hotline. I'm not giving legal or medical advice here. I'm reminding you that help exists, and it's okay to use it. If you need resources, check the episode notes for domestic and LGBTQ+ support lines and legal aid signposts.
I want to speak directly to the person in the middle of this, sitting in your car after a date, heart banging, wondering if desire or shame is driving you. You have permission to pause. You have permission to ask hard questions. You can love someone and still demand safety and respect, so that keeps your dignity and consent intact. I learned this the hard way. Wanting to be seen does not mean you must trade your voice for it. Quick reminder, we're 2 people telling you what we lived. We are not therapists or lawyers. If this episode has stirred up big feelings or complicated logistics, please consider speaking with a qualified therapist, a legal aid clinic, or a trusted community organization. Consult professionals for binding decisions about finances, caregiving, or legal dependency. Use our tools as a starting point, not a substitute for advice from someone trained to help.
If something in this episode landed for you, we'd love to hear the one line you might use to start this conversation. DM us or comment, I hear you, with that line. Or send an anonymous voicemail telling us which boundary you'll try this week. Little choices matter. Little scripts change things. And if you're not ready to share, that's fine too. Just know you're being seen. Thank you for sitting with me today. These stories are messy and beautiful, and we keep choosing each other through the mess. You're not alone. We'll see you next time on SNJ Pride.